Hey guys, my name is Dave and welcome to another video. So, I was having a conversation with one of my friends recently who brought up the idea of their manager not allowing them to listen to music at a workplace. And when this was said, it kind of irked me. And the reason for this actually has to do with the origin, like the whole original reason why music would be played at a workplace in the first place. Now this dates so far back that there is no definitive source of where this started. A lot of people nowadays though have a tendency to believe that music at a workplace, which usually is only found in like stores or restaurants, is done for the sake of the customer having an upbeat time while being there. That's utter bullcrap to every company that believes that. Because the origin of having music at a location like that in the first place is more to push workers to be productive. And not just productive, so it would give them motivation as well. That's why in some workplaces you'd find somebody playing rap or something very not so user friendly at times. But the whole purpose behind this is to keep that particular individual motivated to actually push forward and work. Now, all this is no brainer stuff, right? I'm saying this, and everyone's like, yeah, we know this. Why are you bringing this up? Well, remember what I said at the start. The reason this friend brought it up in the first place was because of the fact that the manager who was talking with them about it apparently claimed that it has to be music that the customer would like. And what I want to talk about directly in this video has more to do with the fact that I have noticed that there are so many companies that look at music and go either no music or music befitting the customer, that it's stupid. It's like these companies who do this have no knowledge of the psychology behind keeping their workers in the first place. And what worsens this is a couple of individuals I've actually talked with, especially nowadays, have complained about the idea that a company, at least here in the US, would rather than, because for those who don't know, most um, states in the US are, I think it's called in use hire. Basically, only one state is that. The rest of them aren't. Um, the idea behind is most of the United States, um, the way jobs work is the company can fire and hire for no reason whatsoever. There's literally one state in the entirety of the United States um, that does otherwise, and none of them abide by it. None of them actually work by that logic, but even it would make you think because of that the companies have good morals, but in reality, a lot of them don't care about the employees, and a lot of them, rather than going, we're gonna fire them, they will have the mentality of going, we're gonna give them reason to want to leave. A good example of this, and it's hypothetical, I'm not saying this is actually happening with any company. I'm sure there are some companies where it is happening, but a good example of this is that of the company would lower all the employees' hours and go, if they don't like it, they can get out. And even though the company had agreed to give full-time hours, they would give part-time hours to everybody. Aside from the people, like the general managers running the stores, but that's about it. They're like the only ones who get the full-time aspect. So, instead of firing certain individuals to lower the amount, since, they have the power to do that, they decide, nah, we're going to keep everyone, we're just going to basically make everyone live off of crumbs. The way I see things, a lot of companies just don't have good morals. And that's the core of the conversation here. Companies just don't. There are a large handful that do have really good morals and do look out for their employees and do exactly what they need to. Unfortunately, the number of companies that do this are so sparse that they get very easily overshadowed by the companies that look at the employees, give them both birds, and say, yeah, oh, you want full time? Screw you. You want music? Screw you. You want a good work environment? Screw you. So many companies do this that it's just sad and pathetic. One thing I have noticed though, and this was part of that conversation I was bringing up at the beginning of the video, one thing that was said by them, and I've experienced myself, is even when a company, the corporate themselves, are just a-holes, a lot of the time, not all the time, but a lot of the time, the workplace you work at compensates for it because they're filled with individuals who are very goodly people. Now, why do companies do this a lot of the time? Actually, I have an answer for that one, and I've done some digging to confirm this, so I know it's true for the most part. There are some exceptions, but for the most part, the reason behind this is because a lot of people have a tendency to not build from the ground up when it comes to hirees. Fast food industries are a perfect example of this, actually. Um, a lot of the time, fast food industries have a tendency to hire new employees and put them immediately into a higher ranking position. There are rare circumstances where this isn't the case. Actually, one of my more recent, no longer general managers of the store I work at, he was originally an employee like I am. And he built from the ground up. He's very understanding about circumstance, and he gets every corner and aspect. Unfortunately, in the past, not in the current, but in the past, I have met some individuals who are immediately placed into a position of high ranking with no knowledge of, like, growth to that point. These individuals are usually the kind of individuals who just don't make the workplace tolerable. And it's sad. These are also usually the individuals who end up saying those other really bad things, don't do this at work, even though it's a no-brainer, you should kind of things. I've actually crossed some in the fast food industry who would go as far as, like, telling others don't do this, don't do this, do this, and then they'll do the stuff that they said don't do in the first place. It's very hypocritical and it gets on my nerves. I'm not going to go into too much detail about all this just because I don't want to really kick dirt in anybody's official faces, but I don't know. If you watch this video and you do this kind of thing, stop it. You're only hurting your employees by doing that. But that's just the thing. Some higher-ups don't even care. A perfect example of this, and I'm gonna say it because everybody knows this at this point. Two examples. Walmart and McDonald's are notorious for doing this to people constantly. Now, is every store like this? Well, no, of course not. But so many of them do it. So many of them don't care about their low-life employees. Even some of them don't even care about their managers, to the point where it's like, there's no inspiration. There's no motivation. To the point where I actually remember walking in on a manager once of one of them, and they were listening to, like, heavy, hardcore really not suitable for work rap, and my brain, my first instinct was, should they really be playing it? Then I reconsidered basically everything I just said and thought, you know what? They're probably going through a rough time. They work at this kind of location. Yeah, you know what? I'm gonna subside it. Because realistically, who is who are the individuals who make a business flow? Sure, the person overseeing all of it has to like organize things, make things, like I said, organized. And there are individuals who have to balance out the finances, CFO, CEO, stuff like that, COO, CTO, to keep things organized and well placed. But without the lower employees, who have basically no motivation because of those higher individuals subsiding all no duh psychological facts, it just shows they don't care. And if they do, they don't show it. Without these low life quote unquote employees, you wouldn't have a business. You'd be running a food truck version of whatever your business is, and you'd be struggling. Is it really that much to ask to allow proper, suitable for work compensation to be able to give motivation to said employees? I don't know. I'm gonna pull a page off of my current general manager, who, great person. I love her. She's awesome. I love working with her. And she does what she can for the employees she has, and I gotta give her credit for that. One of the things she does is she puts up kind of a little friendly competition. So, like, at my workplace, we have been asked several times to ask the customers to, give us a review. And given the name tags we usually have on, we usually would like the review towards ourselves, but I personally usually only just say it open mindedly because the competition, I love the idea, and I help build some of the rule base on it as well. But I just don't compete in it too much because I'm fine where I am. However, this friendly competition basically is, okay, whoever can get the most good reviews by, emphasis on good, by the end of the month, or the end of the season, I think is actually what it is, will get blank prize. And it's usually something that is really, really helpful to the individuals working. It was a very well thought through, very smart thing to do. It involved the employees, it gave them motivation to push, and not just that, this said manager also allows the listening of music. In fact, she is clever enough for the headsets that we wear. She will put one down on the table, put her phone next to it, and play music through it. And it's like a variety playlist that kind of matches all the employees in a way. And you could like hear it through the headset. It is what probably one of the most clever ways to do that I've ever seen. That is how you treat the employees. And even at times, there are some circumstances I don't wear the headset a lot of time, because it helps me focus um, on the job to not do so. And the headsets usually give me a little bit of a headache. Um, Now, I will when I need to. I just don't when I don't. So I'll have like an earbud in. In fact, more directly, I will have the ones okay, I'm not going to try to dig for it, but I usually have the earbud that I use for the Let's Plays that we usually do on here. It's the same earbuds, but connected to my phone instead of my screens. I don't know, I find it very helpful. And what's really nice is that her only request is don't have it there when the higher ups come by. Just to play it safe. I've actually done it in front of them before and they don't seem to mind. So the company I work for currently is definitely more flexible about it, which is really appreciated. Um, but yeah, like that's just it. Create an environment that's welcoming. Something that this company has successfully done. It's just some of the other employees that are kind of in the midpoint, not the highest up, but not like at the rank that I'm at, just still don't seem to care. And it's like a trend. That individual goes by, you gotta like hide the earbud or hide the music, or for whatever reason that makes no sense. Or if this particular individual were to come by, um, there are a lot of factors where it's like, yeah, evade this while that one specific individual is there. Is it the highest up? No. Like I said, they don't seem to mind. It's actually someone that's still pretty low on the spectrum, but higher than the general manager. It's sad. It is really sad how many people look at these things that are detrimental to an employee's work pace and motivation and just take it away. I'm never going to understand why people think this is okay, but it's not. If you want the proper workers to help run your company, you need to give them enough type of reasonable, obviously, but you need to give them enough reasonable compensation to motivate them to do so. Now, let me point out, I'm fully aware that, hey, I pay them, that's motivation. That was motivation when work started getting paid for. That was the purpose of the payment in the first place, to make it so people would work. But it has been forever since that was initiated. It's not gonna work anymore. Money is not a good motivator anymore because it's a necessity to live. So if you want someone to stay at your workplace, yeah, obviously you need to pay them. That's a no-brainer. That's a legality thing, actually. But if you want them to stay with you and stay working for you, give them some circumstances that make it so they would actually want to in the first place. Give them the hours they look for, that you, well, basically contracted to them. Give them, things that would push them and keep them in good spirits. Give them a good work environment if necessary. All these things are like, they you would think they're no-brainers. It's just sad how many companies don't do this. And not only sad, but it's pathetic. But I don't know. I kind of wanted to vent about this for a bit. It's been almost 20 minutes, so I think I've talked my butt out enough to you guys. There's a phrase I don't think I've ever said before. I don't know, maybe I have. But I don't know. If you guys agree with what I had to say here, give the video a like and consider subbing to the channel. Apparently we're doing a lot more of these vlogs than I originally had anticipated. But yeah, I was originally going to do upload an episode of Kingdom Hearts today, but this is something that I felt like I needed to talk about, so yeah, there's that. But yeah, if you really like these kind of topics, why not consider subscribing to the channel? We definitely do these often enough to where, I don't know, maybe you'll find a topic that you really like, or you want discussed on here, or maybe it's been discussed before, I don't know. Yeah, thanks again for watching, guys, and we hope to see you all in another video. We'll see you guys later.